Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and when you are watching this recording. My apologies for yesterday that I wasn't live at the webinar. I messed up with the time difference. So again, my apologies, but I will make it up to you. I'll give you an extra gift at the end of the seminar, of the webinar. So let's do this. Mental fitness and positive intelligence for nurses. Now, before we go into this, I want you to be here in the moment. So please switch off your mobile phone. Make sure you don't get emails or messages on the device on where you are watching this webinar so that you can really be here. And I'll help you with this. So let's do a little exercise so that you will be in the moment, that you will be here present 100%. Close your eyes. Make sure you are comfortable in your chair or wherever you are sitting. Put your 2 feet on the floor and take a few deep breaths. Now, feel the weight of your body on your chair or wherever you are sitting. Feel the weight in this chair of your body. Feel the weight of your 2 feet on the floor. Feel your toes. If you can't feel them, just wiggle them a little bit. Notice how the air, when you inhale, has a different temperature than when you exhale. Notice it's that in your nostrils. Notice how your arms are resting on your chair or maybe on the table where you are sitting. And notice how with each breath, your stomach or your torso moves, gets filled with air in the lungs. Hear your breathing. And when you're ready for it, you can just open your eyes. Thank you for this. Thank you for being here with me, for being present. What's up for today? First, I'll tell you who I am, why I'm giving this webinar. We're going to talk about what positive intelligence is, what mental fitness is, how positive intelligence removes stress. I'll give you some quick wins, tell you what could be next, and there will be no Q&A because this is a recording. So again, I apologize for that. So let's go. I am Eddy Smits. I'm a TEDx speaker, an author, a licensed NLP practitioner. I'm a certified management drives trainer, a certified cognitive behavioral therapy coach, a certified mindset coach, certified life coach, a bachelor in pedagogy, and I was a professional artist for 25 years. To be more specific, a clown. Yes. And now I am a mental fitness coach. Now, during my career as a clown, I was also a hospital clown. And that was the period I learned a lot about people, a lot about how to behave. I also learned a lot about leadership because as a hospital clown, you don't only go to the children, you need to deal with their parents, with hospital staff, with nurses, with doctors, and you are dealing with even palliative children, which is sometimes difficult to get to because everybody is really protective and you have to find a way to get to them. You have to find a way to talk to people, to be with people. And then once in the room, you have to find a point of connection and connecting with them, which is not always that simple because with healthy children, you know, if you are a clown, just putting on the nose could be enough. But with sick children, it's a whole different story. after that period of hospital clowning, I wrote a book about that experience. And I wrote about the fact that the things that we do, or I did as a hospital clown, how you can use these techniques and these principles, how you can use them in your real life. One of the things is, for example, if you want to succeed in something, if you want to learn something or succeed in life or whatever, you need to fail, because without failing, there is no succeeding. And the more you fail, the quicker you will succeed. And why is that connected with a clown? Because a clown loves to fail, because when he fails, his audience laughs. Think about the old Charlie Chaplin movies where Charlie Chaplin falls or stumbles. That's the moment that we laugh, right? So when he fails, we laugh. And in real life, it's the same. The more you fail at things, the quicker you will have results. If you want to learn to ride a bike, sorry, then you will need to fail a few times. You will fall. It's not going to be. You're not going to learn that without falling. We know that now, and we know it with riding a bike, and that's also how it goes in life. Another thing is that being in the now, here and now, which in your case as a nurse, when you are with a patient, try to be with the patient in the now, right? Not thinking about, oh, my laundry still has to, I still have to do my laundry, or I still have to do this and this and this, or maybe you're thinking about the past and thinking, oh, I missed this or this or this, right? So you need to learn to be in the moment. And the more you are in the moment with a patient, the deeper the contact will be. And then it doesn't care how long you are with that person, right? I mean, 1 minute of deep contact, of being in the now with somebody, can mean more than 10 minutes of just being present physically, but not being there at the moment and connect with a patient or a person. So this period, I learned a lot as hospital clown. I wrote it down in a book, and that was also the start of my personal development journey. Now, I experienced a lot of things, and I started to use them in my coaching. But there was something like, I felt that, and I knew what clowning was, but it was really hard to explain to people what it exactly was and how I did it. And there was no base for that. It was just me that had the experience. And that was sometimes hard to work with people because they really didn't know what a clown did. But I found something that is doing things like I did as a clown, and that is supported by science. It's so simple and sustainable. What I mean with simple is, you have these HR tools like Myers-Briggs and all the things where you learn to see these types of peoples and learn to deal with them. But in some cases, you have like 16 types of people, and then you have even divided more in 32 or 64 even. There are systems, and it all gets very complicated. And the essence of a clown is to keep things simple. So what I learned is that this is a simple and easy to learn, sustainable system. Sustainable is another thing that I missed in my coaching when I coached people. They learned a lot and they grew during the period that I coached them. But afterwards, after a while, they fell back in their old habits. And I felt I needed something that they could hold on to so that they could really do it themselves and stay in this positive mindset or in a positive mindset. And I found that, and it has a name, it's called positive intelligence. Now, what is positive intelligence? It is your capacity to respond to life challenges with a positive rather than negative mindset. And what's really funny is this: that's the same as a clown's mentality, because a clown also responds to negative things by making them positive in a simple way. So positive intelligence is in fact what a clown does, but now it's on a scientific base, and that's why I love working with it, and that's why I also want to explain what it is to you guys so you can use it to reduce stress, for example. But that's only one thing. You'll see that. Now, I told you it's based on research, and they took a synthesis of recent discoveries across neuroscience, positive psychology, performance science, and cognitive behavioral. These things together make positive intelligence. It is a breakthrough research done by Shahzad Shamin, who is a Stanford professor, and to be honest, there is nothing else like this that is so sustainable and that is so simple to learn and to do. The simplicity is in the factor analysis. And what is factor analysis is discovering the root cause. So we go to the root problem, the root cause of it, and it is made really simple. Now, how could that be? I hear you think that this can be a solution to many things. Well, factor analysis is just like this. When we take the example of colors, then you only need 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow, to make all the colors in the world. The same with positive intelligence. Positive intelligence, if you work with positive intelligence, if you have that mentality, you can deal with all challenges. So it's not only for, let's say, for business people, it's for house mothers and parenting, or it's for teachers, or it's for CEOs, or it's for top athletes. And if you are wondering how can that be? Well, how can it be that you can make all the colors just with 3 colors? It's the same. So the basics is so simple that you can really use it in many fields. Now, how does it work? We only have 3 core muscles at the root of mental fitness. So mental fitness is what supports positive intelligence. Why is it called mental fitness? Well, because just like fitness, we have to apply it every day if we want to have results. We have the saboteur and the interceptor, we have the sage, and there is self-command. And I'll explain this all in the next few minutes. Now, you have 10 saboteurs, we call it saboteurs, and we have 5 sage powers. That's it. And you don't even need to know which your saboteurs are. It's interesting, you don't even need to know it to apply positive intelligence, to apply mental fitness. You only need to have a knowledge of your 5 sage powers, and that's it. There's no more theory, there's no more than this. Now, what are saboteurs? Our biggest saboteur, we call the judge. Everybody has that. You can, people judge themselves, people judge others, and people judge circumstances. Think about COVID, right? Many people blamed COVID for everything that happened, which is maybe true, but you know, we'll see later that there are things to do about that, about how you think about the circumstances or others, or the self-judge. The other saboteurs are the controller, the hyperachiever, the restless, the stickler, the pleaser, the hypervigilant, the avoider, the victim, and the hyper-rational. Now, if you want to know what your saboteurs are, then I will give you a link at the end of this webinar. That's your first gift. And you can do a free assessment where you can have a result like this. So you see what your top saboteurs are, and it's really interesting to know. So that's my first gift for you at the end of this webinar. Now, saboteurs motivate you through negative emotions, and the sage motivates you through positive emotions. Now, what are negative emotions? They are fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, insecurity. Positive emotions are empathy, like curiosity, creativity, passion, purpose. These are all positive emotions. Now, let me explain a little bit more where it comes from. I don't want to give you this brain theory, right? But still, so you know what it's based on. So our saboteurs are located in our brainstem, our limbic system, and parts of the left brain. We also probably, you'll know it as prehistoric brain or reptile brain, right? The sage, however, is more in the middle prefrontal cortex, in the empathy circuitry, and in parts of the right brain. Now, the common thing that people have with these saboteurs is that how can they be bad? Because they generate my success, like hyperachievers, like controllers. They say that because I have this saboteur, I get my success, and that may be true, but it will never give you happiness. Another thing is that saboteurs are not bad. The thing is, we tend to exaggerate. We go in overdrive in our top saboteurs, and that's what's giving us the negative emotions. For example, like stress. We'll talk about that later. But if you are handling out of your sage, then it will generate you the highest possible success and sustained happiness. So that's just the thing you need to know about saboteurs and sage. I'm not going much deeper into this, but just that you know where this comes from. They have tested this with MRIs so that we see which brain parts lit up. It's a whole scientific study. For those who are interested, you can always contact me. I will give you the link to these studies. I know people who are very interested in that, but that's a possibility, just to let you know. So let's start with these saboteurs and how to intercept them, right? And the question is that I wanna ask you: is pain good for you? It's a question. Is it good for you? What do you think? Well, it is, right? Because when you put your hand on a hot stove, you need this pain to warn you that you need to put your hand off the stove. And that is a little bit the same with these saboteurs. So we need these saboteurs to warn us if something is not okay or going wrong. We really need them. The problem is that most people keep their hand on the hot stove, so that the saboteurs are going to rule your life and rule the game. And as you know, nobody keeps his hand on the hot stove. So this is why you feel stressed. This is why you're not happy at some points. This is why your performances are bad, etc., etc. It's all due to the fact that you are really keeping your hand on this hot stove. So negative emotions, they are only helpful for 1 second as an alert system, but staying in negative emotions hurts your ability to see clearly and respond with empathy, curiosity, creativity, or laser-focused action. And a saboteur is what we call a negative emotion. So what is the sage then? Well, it lives in the region of our brain associated with positive emotions, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, creativity, and seeing the big picture. That's what our sage brain does or is. Now, the sage perspective is that every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift and opportunity. You may be asking yourself now, every circumstance. Yes, every circumstance, how bad it may seem. And that's why I want to tell you a story. It's called the stallion story because it's about a stallion. And it goes like this. So there was a farmer in old China, and he had a beautiful stallion. And people told him, hey, there is a contest in town. You should really go with your stallion because I think you could win this. And the farmer goes to this contest, and as people were thinking, this was such a beautiful, powerful stallion that he won the competition. And everyone was congratulating the man, and they say, oh, this is great, congratulations. But the old farmer, the only thing he said was, who knows what is good and what is bad? So he goes home, and words get out, of course, of his stallion. And within a few days, his stallion gets stolen by thieves. And again, people come to him and say, oh, I'm so sorry what happened. This is such bad luck. But again, the farmer says, who knows what is good and what is bad? People are a little bit confused and don't know what he exactly means. But okay, so what happens is that the stallion with the thieves breaks loose, and he comes back to the farmer, and on his way, he brings a few mares with him. And again, people come up to him, oh, that's so good news. You're so lucky. Your stallion is back. And he even brought mares. But again, the old farmer says, who knows what is good and what is bad? So the next day, his son starts to ride in these mares, these new mares. He falls off a mare and breaks his leg. Again, people come and they say, oh my God, we are so sorry for you that your son got this injury. But the farmer again says, who knows what is good or what is bad? And again, people don't really know what he means. But life goes on. And the week after that, the army comes into town, and they take all the young men, because there's a war going on, and they take all the young men to go and fight. But of course, since his son broke his leg, they leave him there. And now the people are starting to understand it. That's the story of the stallion. But what does it mean? And I have a question for you. Which perspective is true? Right? The saboteur will tell you, oh, that's bad, you know. But the sage will tell you it's a gift. Now, the answer is actually whichever you believe becomes true. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And think about this story from the stallion. It's a well-known story. It's probably, maybe some people know it already. But it's that with life too. You know, if something happens, there is no good and no bad. It's only what the consequences are. And even some consequences, there's never good and bad. It's only what we make of it. And that's why the sage perspective is every circumstance can be a gift. Everything that happens to you can be viewed as a gift. Now, I can imagine that some people say, how can really bad things turn into a gift? Well, to answer that question, there is like a black belt in positive intelligence. Not really, but I'm just saying as a comparison. And when we start off in positive intelligence, mental fitness, we can deal with, oh, I lost my phone, or my phone got stolen, and you can deal with that. It will give us no stress anymore. But of course, when serious things happen, you need more muscle building. And that's also what I want to emphasize in this webinar. You need muscle building. It's not because you follow this webinar that you know everything and you can turn every situation into a gift. But if you start training that muscle, which is the sage, if you start training to go from your saboteur brain to your sage brain, which I'll tell you in a few minutes how we do that, then slowly but surely you will be mentally fit, like we say, right? And you can deal with any circumstance. And if you can deal with any circumstances, that will also reduce your stress, because whether you like it or not, stress is something we do to ourselves, right? It's how you react at certain circumstances that will give you stress. You know, stress is not something you pick up somewhere. No, it's from circumstances, and it's how you handle with them that will give you stress or not, right? So these what are the 5 sage powers then? How can you deal with these saboteurs? Well, there are 5 sage powers. The first one is empathize. You can empathize with yourself or others, bring compassion to and understanding the situation. Now, I know that nurses mostly have a lot of empathy, right? So but that is really one of the 5 sage powers to get to your other brain and to reduce your stress, actually. Next sage power is explore. If you're going to explore and be curious what's going on, right, it will give you another view on the things that are happening, which again will reduce your stress. The third sage power is innovate. Maybe you can figure out something new about a situation that doesn't work well. In a hospital, if situations don't work well, maybe you can create another perspective or think out of the box to create a solution for it. And as you know, if you create a solution for something, there won't be any stress. The fourth sage power is navigate, right? You can navigate and choose a path that's best aligned with your deeper underlying values and mission. You can do that. And the last sage power is activate. You can put yourself into action, activate, and take decisive action without the distress, interference, or distraction of these saboteurs. We all know that to grow or to resolve situations, we have to put some action into it. Now, we have the saboteurs that are messing. It's a little bit like, you know, they used to say we have the devil and the angel on one shoulder, and they are constantly talking to you, right? We know this talk in our heads. We are constantly listening to ourselves, actually, and one kind of ourselves is the sage, and the other kind of the saboteurs, or the angel or the devil, or how you want to call it. And the first step is to intercept them, to realize, to recognize, oh, now this is my saboteur talking to you. And of course, you can do that the moment you know your saboteurs. If you know that one of your top saboteurs is an avoider, and there's a situation and you're starting to avoid this situation, you got to catch and say, oh, I'm avoiding things, right? And that's true for every saboteur. So that's the first thing you do. Next thing is you go to sage. And how you go to sage, I'm going to explain to you in a minute. And that's how you self-command, right? So you go from saboteur to sage, and that process will decrease your stress, because as I told you before, stress is self-conflicted. And if you use your sage power to go to another point, or to resolve things, or to have empathy, or whatever you want to do, then your stress will really disappear. And that's why you need to self-command. Now, how do we go? That's the question of the day. How do we go from your saboteurs to your sage? How do we go from the more left side to your brain to your right side of the brain? And actually, that is really simple. We call it PQ reps. Reps are repetitions, and it's just like in a gym. The more you do these repetitions, the stronger your muscles will be. Now, some of you will do a 10-second PQ rep in a moment, and some of you will think, is this meditation? Is it kind of meditation? Well, it is a kind of, but there is a big difference. You know, when you meditate and you go into a room or in your home, you can put off some candles, some nice music, you get into your body, you get relaxed, which is great. But the problem with meditation is there is no self-command. And what do I mean with that? Let's suppose you are in a meeting and things are not going well, and you get upset or frustrated or anger. You know, you can't go to that room, you can't start to meditate, you can't put on the music. There's no self-command with meditation. You can do it, and it will bring you to a relaxed moment. But the moment you get out of the room and something happens, you know, this meditation that you did, you can't bring it back. And that's the difference with PQ reps, positive intelligence reps, is that you learn to self-command. And the moment that you feel stressed, the moment that something happens, that you go to your sage, and there will one of these sage powers, that you reduce it, that you calm down again, that you get back to your laser-focused self, and that's the big difference. Now, let's do a 10-second PQ rep, which is really simple. So I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to just rub 2 fingers together. That will probably be your thumb and your index finger. And if you rub them together, you will feel the ridges of your fingers. Just rub them together. Feel the ridges. Now, put your fingers together with the fingers of your other hand. Start rubbing them gently. And gently go to the palm of your hand and feel all these sensations. Go to your arm, your underarm. Feel the sensations of this touch. And if you're ready, just open your eyes. You probably noticed that with doing this, suddenly you become calm. And if you didn't join the exercise, I really must emphasize, do this and experience it. That's the only way you'll feel that it works. So that is a 10-second rep. Now, putting your fingers together is something you can easily do in a meeting, right? Before we had the exercise when we started the webinar with wiggling your toes, right? You can easily do that in a meeting or wherever you are, or in the car or wherever you are. So these PQ reps, most of them you can just do wherever you are to bring yourself into sage mode. So that's quickly told how it actually works. Now, that's also what I said in the beginning, is that it's really simple to do. You know, it is science-based, but you don't need to be a brain surgeon to understand this and to do this. So it's really simple. So the first thing you do if you're feeling this negative emotion is stop and realize that you're in saboteur mode, whatever that is. The next thing you do is you just do a few PQ reps to quiet these saboteurs and to activate your sage, which is also, again, really simple. And you have to assume the sage perspective, that every problem can convert it into a gift and opportunity. So whatever is happening to you, you can convert that into a gift and opportunity, how bad it may seem. Now, again, here I'm saying in the beginning that you're starting to use positive intelligence and mental fitness, some problems will be too big. It's the same within the gym, right? If you start going to the gym and you want to pick up let's say 100-pound weight, you won't be able to lift it. But you start with 10 and 20 and 30 and so on pounds. And after a while, you will be able to also lift this heavy weight. And that is exactly the same how positive intelligence works. So the more you train that muscle, the more you do these PQ reps, and it's not called for nothing reps, right? Repetitions. The easier we will go to your stage, and the more problems you can convert, or challenges or life's challenges you can see in a positive light. It was the same for me as a clown. You know, in the beginning, when you see children with a broken arm or broken leg or whatever, you can convert that into something positive. And you go to the stage where you visit palliative children who have cancer. And even that, as a clown, you need to convert that to a positive thing. And that looks hard and it seems hard, but again, we had the power as a hospital clown by doing it so many years that we could do that. And that's exactly the same with positive intelligence and with PQ reps. Now, so you generate this gift by using the powers. That's it. You know, that's the whole operating system. And I often get the remark, it can't be that simple. Well, I can assure you it is that simple. And we have this in our brain that, oh, if it's simple, it won't work. And this can't be true. This is just too simple. Well, I can assure you it works. And it doesn't only work for stress. It works for your overall well-being. It works for your performance. And it even works for your relationships. So there are so many studies at this point been done, even in companies where people work together, where they all have knowledge of positive intelligence, their performance go up, even sales teams. And that's what I'm trying to explain with the colors. You know, if you have 3 colors, you can make any color in the world. So the question you may have is, it really possible to just shift from saboteur to sage response, even in tough challenges? I just explained it to you. Yes, you know, but the speed and depth of the shift depends on your mental muscle strength. And that is how you create something lasting. And that is also why people tend to have the knowledge and the insight, but they can't do anything about it. And to be really honest, this is also true for this webinar. You know, now you have this insight. We even did a few PQ reps. So you have this insight that with positive intelligence, you can reduce your stress, you can improve your overall well-being, your performance. You have this insight now. But my dear people, that's only 20% of the work. The other 80% is mental muscle building. And, you know, I can again do the fitness comparison. If you want to be fit, you go to the gym, you start training, and you train for, let's say, 2 months. Oh, you're really fit. You lost some weight. You're really fit. You can run a half a marathon. I'm just saying something. But if you stop and you don't do anything for even another few weeks, all the work that you have done will be gone. And that's the same with positive intelligence. That's the same. That's why we call it mental fitness. So every day you need to do a few of these reps. But the good news is that you just need to do like 10 to 15 minutes a day, max. You can even skip a day if you want. That's no problem. The only thing now that I do with people is the first 6 weeks are very important, because the first 6 weeks we need to really make new neural pathways, and we need to really install a new habit. So the first 6 weeks are very important. But then when you start to get the hang of it, it works really well. So now, Your gifts. Well, there's a free saboteur assessment that you can join, that you can do. I already told you that. You can see the link here below, so you can make a print screen or write it down, pause the video, and go to that website. And you can. It's really a free assessment, so you can do the assessment, and then you get your saboteurs, and it's really insightful to know them. And the second gift, because I missed the webinar actually. If you want, you can have a free coaching call. The only thing you really need to do is do this free saboteur assessment, so we can see what happens, and you will get a free coaching session, 3-hour coaching sessions for me. That's my gift, because I was mistaking with the hour, but it's my mistake, and that's my gift I will do for you. If you want to contact me, here's my website. You can just email me or whatever, and you can book a call. You can book a coaching call, a coaching session. So again, my apologies also that there's no Q&A now, because this is a recording. I hope you all do well. Try out the few PQ reps that I told you. Just try them out. You'll feel that if you go into your body, if you do them, you'll feel different. You start to feel different. So I mean, just imagine if you really work with positive intelligence, what that will be. This being said, the people who are really interested in going to work with positive intelligence can also contact me, even if you're a team leader or an executive in your hospital. Let's see what we can do for your team. The results are staggering. I can only say that. And this being said, I hope you all have a pleasant continuation of the day. Thank you very much for your attention, and maybe we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.